The Xenon Education Exchange satellite was a marvel of galactic cooperation, a place where young beings from 100 worlds came to learn together. In the advanced astrophysics seminar, the students were a diverse mix of tentacles, carapaces, and fur, everyone except for one. Jocks, a human boy from a backwater planet called Earth, sat quietly, his simple data slate looking primitive compared to the crystalline neural feed devices of his classmates. Zilla, from the high-gravity world of Ortega, found his presence endlessly amusing. Her species valued physical dominance and aggressive problem-solving. To her, humans were soft, pink, and slow. During a complex simulation on stellar cartography, Jocks made a minor error in his initial trajectory calculations. A ripple of condescending clicks and whistles ran through the class, led by Zilla's booming, guttural laugh. She gestured a thick, four-fingered hand at his screen, as if to say, "Look at the primitive. He has to input commands manually. It is a wonder his species made it to space at all." Jocks didn't look up. He simply deleted the flawed calculation and started again. His persistence only made Zilla laugh harder. The instructor, a being of pure energy, flickered with mild annoyance but said nothing. The galaxy held a quiet, shared assumption about humanity. They were newcomers, intellectually unremarkable, tolerated for their enthusiasm, but not taken seriously. They were the galactic equivalent of eager, simple pets. Zilla's laughter eventually subsided as the simulation moved on, but the mockery in her large, dark eyes remained fixed on the human boy. She had already dismissed him, a footnote in her perfect academic record. She had no way of knowing that in 72 standard hours, the quiet human she laughed at would be the only thing standing between her and a cold, silent death in the void. The class was on a field trip, observing a binary star system from a safely anchored observation platform. The view was breathtaking. Twin suns swirling in a gravitational dance. For Zilla, it was routine, a chance to gather data for her personal log. She barely noticed Jocks, who was again using his slow, manual tools, brow furrowed in concentration. Then the alarm blared. A series of violent coronal mass ejections, undetected by the platform's automated sensors, surged toward them. The platform systems, designed for stability not combat, struggled to compensate. A direct hit from the first wave of charged particles would fry their shields and leave them adrift. Panic erupted. The energy being instructor flickered with distress, its form destabilizing. Zilla felt true fear for the first time in her life. Her people were warriors, but they could not fight a star. She watched helplessly as the other prodigies of the galaxy, with their advanced neural interfaces and instantaneous data processing, froze. Their devices were overwhelmed by chaotic energy readings, providing only frantic, useless streams of error messages. They were brilliant but trained for orderly problems, not raw, violent chaos. Amid the screaming and flickering lights, a single voice cut through the panic. Calm, steady, and utterly human Jocks. He was already at a manual engineering station, fingers flying across a keypad that looked centuries old. He wasn't trying to process all the data. He was looking for a different kind of answer. He had seen a pattern. A tiny gap in the wavefront that the automated systems had missed because it wasn't in their programming to look for it. He was calculating a single desperate maneuver. "Listen to me," Jocks said, his voice not loud but impossibly clear. His eyes were fixed on his screen, which showed a simple three-dimensional model of their position. The raging star became a calm, solvable geometry problem. "I can get us through, but I need control of the thrusters now." The other students stared, their advanced minds finally realizing they were out of ideas. Zilla, her bravado gone, just watched. The human boy didn't look primitive anymore. He looked focused, like a predator calculating the exact moment to strike. Jocks's plan was insane. He intended to use the platform's weak maneuvering thrusters to time a lateral roll that would present the smallest possible profile to the oncoming wave, slipping through the sensor gap he had identified. It required perfect timing, a feel for the ship's momentum no computer could provide. It required intuition. The instructor, its energy form barely cohesive, transferred control. The platform lurched, throwing everyone against their restraints. Zilla saw the wave of fire approaching through the viewport, a hellish orange tide, inevitable and consuming. Then the platform rolled. It was slow, ponderous, like a swimmer turning in deep water. For one eternal second, the wave was directly upon them, filling the universe with light. Then it was gone, streaming past on either side. They were through. The alarms fell silent, replaced by the soft hum of functioning systems. Jocks let out a long, slow breath and leaned back in his seat, pale but calm. He had just done what no one else in the galaxy could. The silence on the platform was profound, broken only by the soft sobs of relief from a few students. All eyes turned to Jocks. The condescension, the mockery, it had all been burned away by stellar fire. They saw him as he truly was, the one who had moved when they had frozen. Zilla felt a hot wave of shame wash over her. She remembered her laugh, her dismissive gestures. She had mocked a being capable of such calm and clarity under pressure. Her people prided themselves on courage, but this was different. This was courage born not of brute force, but of a deep, almost illogical refusal to accept defeat. It was the courage to try the impossible. As a rescue ship arrived, its crew of various species buzzing with questions about how they had survived, the truth began to spread. The official logs showed the automated systems had failed. The energy readings had confounded every standard protocol. The only record of the successful maneuver came from Jocks' simple data slate, which had been manually recording his calculations throughout the entire crisis. When the rescue crew asked who was responsible, the other students, still shaken, pointed to Jocks, the quiet human boy from unremarkable Earth. Galactic news networks picked up the story. Headlines blared with a shocking revelation. A human, using tools considered obsolete for millennia, had saved an entire class of the galaxy's brightest young minds from certain death. The laughter from a few days ago became a galaxy-wide question. What else had they missed about humanity? In the weeks that followed, Jocks' story became legend. He was hailed as a hero, invited to speak at the grandest ceremonies, yet he always deflected the praise, saying he just did what anyone from his world would do. This only deepened the mystery. The galaxy began to look at Earth with new eyes, studying human history, art, and music. They found a pattern. A species that had survived on a dangerous world, not through physical gifts, but through a stubborn, creative, and often illogical will to live. Zilla sought Jocks out after the official inquiries were over. She found him on a quiet observation deck, staring at the stars. She approached, her heavy footsteps announcing her presence. He turned and offered a small, friendly smile. "I was wrong about you," Zilla said, her voice lacking its usual booming confidence. "About all of you." I laughed. "I am sorry." Jocks shook his head. "You don't have to be sorry. We're used to it. We're the new kids. We know we don't look like much. But our history taught us that the biggest problems don't always have the most complicated solutions. Sometimes you just have to roll." The galaxy learned a profound truth that day. It wasn't about superior technology or physical prowess. It was about the spirit that lived inside the fragile pink beings from a blue planet. It was the spirit to look into the face of annihilation and, instead of freezing, start looking for a way out. Humanity, the galaxy finally understood, wasn't just along for the ride. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.